sassy, a little bit crazy, a little bit classy. We got dreams and we got goals. We're just a couple of old sassholes.
Hello.
Hi. And we do it the same way every time.
Do we?
We pretty much do.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's a thing we do.
It is a journey.
And who are we and what are we doing? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
This is a Couple of Sassholes podcast. I'm Brooklyn Maple.
And I am Heather Terry.
And this is our power hour of murdery fun and wildness.
What? Murdery fun and wildness.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's what we do.
Well,
And it's a good fucking time.
I feel like if Lizzie Borden had a Tinder, that would be her little headline.
I would hope so.
You think?
Or maybe Jodi Arias's.
Oh, God.
There's a few. There's a
Jodi Arias.
few little murder wops out there.
Hers
that
would be like Klinger6969. That would be her handle. Is that what they're called?
I think
Her Tinder name.
It would be like Klinger ass action 6969. Because didn't she like in the butthole?
I'm assuming.
No,
yes.
I'm pretty sure that was the whole thing because it was like, it wasn't sex if it was in her butt.
It wasn't. Oh.
It's not sex if it's in your butthole.
Oh. Wow. Little
God,
PSA.
that's what God says.
All of
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about Mormonism enough to be like,
What book of the
if you
Bible
go
would
through the
that
back
be?
door, it's fine.
What book of the Bible would that
Front
be?
door is a no. Go. Gotta go around back.
Around the back door?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So other things that are not about anal.
Butthole related.
Yeah. We're going to go see another concert tomorrow.
We are. Now, this is our second concert. Now, here's the thing. Little PSA. Concerts are my jam. Brooklyn, you humor them.
I humor them, yeah.
You do.
I like small group ones.
Yes.
So like the Bluegrass Hall of Fame has like a small concert series, if you will. That literally might be the name, where you get to sit down and no one stands and people don't step on my toes or they don't bump into me and they don't get drunk. Or like the symphony, which is technically a concert.
Hey, I went to that with you and I enjoyed myself thoroughly.
That was a private viewing. That was not.
Oh, well, still like.
But yeah, right. Same thing.
I never thought I would say I went to the symphony and I had fun, but I had a large time.
But that was also literally a private practice showing of it. So we didn't really get to. But I hear you.
Like, wow.
Well, because we weren't in fucking ball gowns like we usually would be if we were going to the actual symphony.
We were in ball gowns.
But any Hoosier.
We're going to see El King tomorrow night, and I'm so excited.
So for people who don't know who El King is, can you please give us a sample?
Yes. She sang, everybody will know this one for the most part, the Miranda Lambert song with El King, Drunk and I Don't Want to Go Home. That's when I like when you do it.
I don't know the song enough to do that.
Oh, well, that's it.
That's why I asked you to do it.
Yeah. Well,
But I
I'm
asked you to
sober.
sing. Yeah.
I'm sober. I don't sing when I'm sober.
I know, but can you just sing the verse of what the main song
Not like
is?
I'm drunk and I don't want to go home. That's the chorus.
And also the name. That was very beautiful. I'm very happy I
Thanks.
asked Heather to sing it right before, and she was like, "Sure, I'll do that." And then we're live, and she's like, "Nope,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just
I don't want to.
hum it in a way that doesn't actually sound like the song." So today we are going to be doing a really fun story.
This one is, oh my God. I don't even know how to describe this one. This one is wild, murdery, not fun. It's twists and turns and international.
I have nothing else to say to it. It's one of those where you can't make it up. You just can't make it up.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't, and
You won't. And you're
going to think about it for 3 to 5 business days.
When I clicked print and then it didn't print and I had to email someone and ask them to print it for me. When I did that, I was like,
Did you send it to our receptionist?
this was heavy.
Yeah.
This was heavy. Heavy and weird and uncomfortable and fucked up.
Yeah.
And weird and heavy and uncomfortable. But I can't wait to tear it apart on this podcast and tell you guys all about it.
I mean, yeah. Did you send it to the receptionist by chance?
Yes,
Our
I had to.
receptionist? I did also.
No, the other receptionist. Yeah.
I did also. So I hopefully she read it because I told her a little bit about the beginning part. So I was hoping that she put 2 and 2 together and read it. Like notes.
She didn't read it.
Oh, well.
At least mine, she didn't read it.
Missing out. She was like, what the fuck? I told her. It's like, just so you know, I'm about to send you some weird shit. Just print it. this is what it's going to say. And she was like,
I didn't do any of that. And I was literally like, can you print this one-sided? Thanks. And I walked up there and started talking to her about something completely different, and she printed it. So apparently all you need to do is really send it to her and then just distract her.
Oh, damn it. I didn't do that.
I'm going to also state real quick my works cited page, because I'm going to hop in halfway through the story. So I used Wikipedia, the Japan Times, and the interview with the cannibal. That's on YouTube.
Well, I used Wikipedia. I also used the Japan Times, la-ti-da, allthat'sinteresting.com. And then when I actually first heard this, I don't know if this is where you first heard it, this is where I first heard it, was episode 116 of My Favorite Murder.
I don't think I ever heard about this guy.
Yeah,
I think he popped up when I was doing because we did cannibalism and I didn't pick him.
Yeah.
So he popped up back then, but other than that.
Well, I mean, y'all be loving that. The Neckies one and the Cannibals one, like those rank pretty high. So we decided to ratchet back around and do this. So here I do go with the beginning. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and give a trigger warning, but I feel like our whole podcast is a trigger warning. So it's so disturbing and fucked up and gross and infuriating and all the above. Issei Sagawa. How does he say his name? Sagawa?
I have no idea.
Okay, I didn't know. Like,
I never heard him say his name.
Yeah,
when I called him and asked him for an interview, I have no idea how he says it.
Well, I heard it like 5 or 6 different ways, so I wasn't sure. Issei, I'm just going to claim Issei the whole time. Issei, who is also known later in life as Pang, or spoiler alert, the Kobe Cannibal, was born April 26, 1949 in Kobe, Japan. Now, his parents were super wealthy. Like, his dad was a president of a water company or something, and his grandpa was an editor of a big publication. So when Issei was born, he was born prematurely, so he was a preemie, and he could actually fit in the palm of his dad's hand.
It's very tiny.
Which, think of how tiny that is. They had another son a year later, but the boys were raised as twins because Issei was still so small, even though they were a year apart. He was thin and frail, and obviously he was very self-conscious from an early age, so it made him kind of introverted, and he got super into reading and literature because of that.
It didn't help that he was ugly as fuck.
Yes, because I
can say that because of who he is and what he has done, and also the fact that he was ugly as fuck.
Yeah, he even said it too.
Yeah. There's nothing. He was unattractive. It is what it is. You can't. You just can't. It's like me telling you the sky is blue. The motherfucker was ugly.
Yeah, and he was a bad person, so we can say he's ugly, like you said.
Truly a perverted beast.
Yeah. And foreshadowing, there's footage online of Issei's uncle coming over when they were younger to play with him and his brother. And his uncle would play, did you read this? His uncle would play a man-eating giant, and they would put on like a fake play, and he would fake put the boys in a pot and pretend to eat them when they were little.
I avoided his future, like his past, and I only focused on the murder and after.
Like, that's just a weird... Like,
I don't think that's weird at all.
To pretend to eat them and put them in a pot.
The giant, the Little Red Riding Hood.
Hansel and Gretel.
There's so many kids things. I don't think that's weird.
Hansel and Gretel. Now it would be weird. Back then, I guess it was kind of...
I still don't think it would be weird. I don't think it's weird.
I guess it's just because I know the ending.
Yeah. I'm like, it's only because he became a cannibal that you're like, that's weird. I'm like, no, that's not weird to me.
He said when he was only 6 years old, he became obsessed with the idea of eating people and eating flesh. In the first grade, he even asked his teacher what would happen if he ate human flesh. Like, he wanted to know if he would get in trouble. And I just can't imagine being the actual teacher who did that. The idea got in his head that if he ate people, he would somehow take their strength and get big and strong and all that stuff. I mean, I remember like the Popeye the Sailor Man, how they try to get kids to eat spinach, and they kind of tied those two together. But he was going to go another route to get big and strong. His obsession made him fantasize about it. So as he got into his teens, he became a little bit perverted, and there was a sexual aspect of it. So basically, he started getting turned on by the thought of having a skin sandwich. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know we don't kink shame on the podcast, but there's a line. There's a line. Eating skin.
We don't kink shame, but we do shame murder.
We do. Cannibalism.
You can't eat someone while they're just hanging out.
Tis true.
Yeah.
Tis true. For example, like whenever he had his first trapper keeper moment, like,
Oh man.
yeah, he wasn't sure how to like jerk his gherkin. So
Okay, for anyone that doesn't understand what she's saying the first time his dick got hard and he got a boner, he didn't know what to do with it.
with said boner,
Yes.
I had to church it up a little bit.
Well, I don't know that everyone's going to know what a trapper keeper moment is.
Yeah, middle school boys, trapper keeper, front of pants, There are several different reports. Some were saying bestiality, so like he had sex with this poor dog. And then I know you said that you read that he had his ween licked.
No, that's what he said.
Oh, he said that. He said that in the interview.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, he specifically said, when I got a boner, I didn't know how to masturbate, so I had my dog lick it. That's what he said.
God.
Because it's scarred in my head.
And now in mine.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
You didn't have to see his scrawny, ugly ass say it, and then by like the end of it, his face got all greasy. Anyway.
Oh, at age 15, he goes to see a psychiatrist, and he's like, "Hey, murder and cannibalism turns me on, especially with Western women. So think like tall, blonde, Marilyn Monroe type women,
or just like white women, pretty much." And he always says Western, but it really just means like not Japanese.
Yeah, not Asian women.
Not an Asian woman.
Yeah. After he tells his doctor this, he's too chicken to go back, though. So he just says, hey, the doctor's like, okay, cool, let's get you into some treatment. And he's like, I'm okay. A few months later, he actually told his younger brother, who thinks he's full of shit, and he's like, whatever, and then just dismisses that. Like, sis, I love you, but if you came to me and said any fucked up shit, like, I'm not going to let any of that slide. Like, I don't get that part. Their culture.
They're way younger.
They're younger, and their culture's a little bit more conservative, too, so.
We have to think about how many times people come up to people and they're like, I'm thinking about shooting up the school, and they're like, I'm sure it's just them bullshitting, and then they actually shoot up the school.
Oh, that's very true.
You know what I mean? Like, it happens a lot, sadly, and it still happens to this day. So a lot of people don't take people's comments seriously.
That's true.
They probably should.
Yeah.
Unless it's hurtful to you, and then you tell them to go sit on a fat one. Suckers.
Go sit on a fat one. At age 23, he's staying with his Richie Rich parents, and he finally decides, like, all right, it's time to act. He sees a young German woman who had just moved in nearby, and he says, like, all right, here we do go. He's apparently obsessed with biting her ass. Like, hey, I'm gonna eat that ass. I'm gonna bite that ass.
That's
just wants a mouthful of ass. So
I get it.
One night, he couldn't take it anymore, and he does a B&E in her apartment, right? And get this, he's carrying an umbrella and wearing a Frankenstein mask. And I want you to keep in mind, he's 4'9", 4'9". So I would be scared if I woke up and you were just standing by my bed for no reason, let alone someone 4'9" in a Frankenstein mask and an umbrella.
I would 100% assume it was a child. Number one, especially with an umbrella, it's like, that's not even a weapon.
Like, what are you
going to
do?
That's not even a fucking. It's a weapon if you have sharpened the edge of it and put fucking snake venom on it.
Right?
And you are James motherfucking Bond. But at the end of the day, you whacking something. That's what a meemaw does. A meemaw whacks you over the head with an umbrella when you do something that she deems inappropriate. Not fucking a B&E rape situation. Fucking idiot.
Little
fucking idiot.
I think I would think it was a ghost. Like something that short, standing by your bed and you're dead ass
asleep. It would be
asleep.
so easy. You wake up, do a fucking donkey kick to the chest.
Yeah. But I think like for a split second, I'd be like, that is Frankenghost in my room. And why is it raining? Because there's no umbrella. Like, I just couldn't imagine. She's sleeping in her room and baby Frankenstein creeps in, which, like I said, I would literally have a fucking heart attack. And as he's getting his game plan, he bumps her with his knee and she wakes up. And she, of course, freaks the fuck out. And then when he goes to...
Sorry, that's the other... Okay, he bumped... Okay, real quick. This is what I couldn't unpack. Here's the suitcase. Let's unpack real quick. Motherfucker says that she's on the bed naked. She's naked bear.
Yeah, sleeping naked.
Well, don't we all? It's a sexy time. Now, when he explains it, he says he brushes her stomach. And I think you're right with the knee.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the fuck
doing that?
did you walk by That's what I need to know.
Yeah, but
That's what I need to know. How did you brush your knee when you're 4 foot nothing?
Was he trying to like?
Were you stretching?
Was he trying?
Was he doing high knee stretches before he did? I don't. Was he leaning over her? Was he
Maybe
tucking?
that's what it was.
I just okay.
Trying to get a mouthful of that ass.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Oh my God, I just can't get over the fact that he became obsessed with eating her ass. But anyway, he bumps her. She freaks out. And of course, when he goes to run away, she grabs his little Franken paws and then she tackles him to the ground because he's
probably his best
nothing.
moment of his life.
Right? I know.
Naked woman tackling him. Oh, I bet.
I never thought about that. But
there's
yeah.
a snail trail all over that carpet.
Oh my. But he didn't get to bite her ass. And she calls the cops. He gets arrested for attempted rape. And the stupid dad, because again, money, he pays the German woman and she drops all the charges and shuts her mouth and they part ways.
What would you do?
What would I do? What?
If some creepy bear got into your house because he wanted to bite that ass, you tackled him, you weren't hurt.
Mm-hmm. But I just feel like if he did that to me, as much shit as we've dug into, he's going to go do it again and escalate. So I would want to stop it.
What if they were like, here's $50,000?
I don't think I could do it. I don't. I really don't.
I don't think.
Or I would take the money and then tell everybody anyway and keep the charges. I think I would fuck him over because I'd be mad that the dad is trying to sweep it under the rug.
I think it'd be a really good show, and then I would bring you into it, and then we would just like quit our jobs to live off that $50,000 for 5 minutes, and then we can like stalk him.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
With umbrellas?
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically,
I hear
umbrellas.
that's a good weapon.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that we could probably just flick him anyway.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway.
Part of the arrangement that the dad made was that he had to go see a psychiatrist. And again, his dirty little secret is out. Like his family knows. The psychiatrist is like, your kid is definitely a sexual psychopath and he's super dangerous. But of course, what do you think the family did?
Well,
since you know. But I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
Of course, they do nothing. In 1977, 5 years later, when he's like 27 or 28, Issei enrolls in the PhD program at the Sorbonne.
You know what? 1977, Dahmer parents. Jeffrey Dahmer's parents.
Yeah.
All the same shit, different story, except for Dahmer he was way more successful.
Yeah, they all think their kids are perfect.
No, I don't even think that. I think they know that they're terrible humans, but they believe that they'll change.
Yeah,
Like, I think that without fucking treatment.
Without doing anything.
Because treatment wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So in the 70s, I'm not at all surprised.
That's probably accurate. So that year he enrolled in the PhD program at the Sorbonne in Paris, France, which apparently is very prestigious. And one thing to think about that I never thought about until I was typing this out was that he's in another country and it's lousy with curvy Western women that he wants to chew.
Yes.
Etc. Cut to 1979, and American actress Jean Seberg unfortunately killed herself in her vehicle there in Paris. This was super close to Issei's place, and he saw that as a sign to be like, we ride at dawn. Now I'm going to act out everything I've dreamed about.
Because a woman killed herself near his house?
And he saw it. Mm-hmm.
And he saw
he went past and saw.
The body or the act?
The scene. They didn't get into detail about what scene it was, but what I read, he was close enough and was like, that's a sign.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Issei begins hiring sex workers to come over almost every night but he couldn't work up the courage to murder them, even though his fantasy was to shoot them, like shoot a woman, and then etc.
I wonder how he got the gun.
I don't know. One day, another wonderful, sweet baby angel woman named Renee Hartevelt walks into one of Issei's classes, and he becomes immediately fixated on her. Renee was a Dutch woman, and I read between 25, some say 28. It was kind of all over.
She was really pretty.
She was. She was attending the Sorbonne as well. She was smart and beautiful, and unfortunately, there's this little fuckhead overshadows her. Like I was trying to find more on her to like honor her, but I couldn't find a lot. She noticed the little tiny Polly Pocket asshole was isolated in their class together, and she felt compassionate for him since he was so awkward And I'm sure he's just staring at her because he was fixated on her. But he was in a foreign city. She was in a foreign city, so she could relate. So she decided to take him under her wing. So some of her classmates were going to dinner, and she's like, hey, you should come with us. And I was like, how sweet is that she's like, oh, she felt sorry for him and invited him to dinner with her friends.
Yeah.
And they got to chatting. They're both super smart. And they shared a few common interests, including poetry, which was really huge. And this, of course, makes everything worse because he starts drawing pictures of her and begins to formulate his plan. On June 10th, 1981, Issei invited Renee over to help him translate some German poetry for him. And, of course, she's like, we love her. So she says yes. She's going to go help him. I mean, nowadays, if you're going to be kind like that, you'd be like, hey, cool, meet me at Starbucks for a pumpkin spice latte. But I'm not going to come to your house, little guy.
Well, it was recording. It was a voice recording, so I don't think they could have gone to a public spot.
Oh, well, still, though, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if it was a recording, it would be on a phone or something.
And still not in a loud location, but I hear you.
But I'm sure that he wasn't threatening to her, though, because, someone that you could, when people would hold you back with the palm of your hand.
Yeah, I wouldn't think he'd be threatening either.
Yeah, so you honestly wouldn't think anything of it. And she thought he was nice and stuff. But when people would try to hold your face, they'd put their hand on your face and then you try to swing at him and you couldn't reach him. It's pisses you off. That's what I feel like she would think she could do to him. So she goes and he acts like a real big fucking weirdo. So then she left and it was so bad that he wrote her an apology letter and was like, hey, sorry, it was weird. Can you come back over tomorrow night? And June 11th, Renee goes back over there to help again because in her head, he's weird around females. So she's like, he's probably just nervous because I'm a woman. And she sits down at his desk in his apartment to translate the poetry, and which has her back to Issei. He creeps up behind her, holding a gun with a silencer on it, and holds it to the back of her head and pulls the trigger.
Indeed. And then he faints like a fucking loser. This guy, in every part of this, so this is what confuses me, is supposedly he's an intelligent guy, right? He's classically trained, if you will. This guy is so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. Let me unpack the 18 suitcases I have right here talking about how dumb he is. And the reason I say he's so dumb is because I heard him say all of it. So he said it this way. It's not that I read it this way. It's not that I interpret it this way. It's not that some reporter felt this way. Yeah. This was him saying it.
Oh, God.
So whenever he ends up shooting her, obviously she dies. She falls first, forward on the table because he was behind her. He actually shot her pretty far away because he's weak.
Yeah.
And so she falls forward and then she falls on the ground. Whenever she falls on the ground, he already had an entire plan on how he was going to feast on her body, if you will. God. So even though he knew he was going to kill her, he still was not prepared for the job. So someone who was smart waited 32 years that his entire objective was to do this task right here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how many times he fucks up.
Oh, no.
First, he's like, I am going to eat her ass. And he's like, her right cheek, not her left. Her left is closer to her heart. And he was worried about blood. What? I don't know what to say. He goes, I knew I was going to go into the right cheek first, not the left cheek. The left cheek is
yes, sorry.
Is everything.
Okay.
Pretty much everything I'm going to say is him saying it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before he even does that, he obviously has to rape her body. Step one, God. He's like, I know how I'm going to eat her, but first I'm going to rape her. And so he rapes her.
Oh, no.
Yes. And then after that, he's like, all right, time to go to Chow Town. Chow time in the hole. And so he goes for a right butt cheek with his teeth. Because this man believes that his weak fucking 14-year-old build can chew through an ass. And then he's like, oh, wait, no, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
My jaw started to hurt. So then he went, and what kind of knife do you think he grabbed, Heather? A butter knife.
Yeah.
He grabbed a butter knife.
Oh.
He grabbed a fucking butter knife. And then he was like, well, golly gee.
Golly gee.
That's not working. So then he actually has to leave, dead body on the floor, and goes and buys a meat carving knife.
He went and bought one?
Yeah.
He didn't have that?
Yep. Nope. Didn't have one.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I remember that now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So he goes to the store, he buys the knife, and he cuts her ass open. And he's like, well, and then I saw corn, what looked like corn, and I found out later that was fat.
Like
This bitch said he found out later that was fat.
He said
I don't know what to say here.
I don't either.
You're 32. You're classically trained. I keep saying classically trained. I don't even know what that is. He's not a pianist. And yet you don't know that there's a layer of fat on top of your muscle?
I mean, he's going for his
meat?
PhD. He's intelligent. He's got fucked up views. He said it looked like corn.
Yes.
Jesus.
And he was like, I only later found out that was fat. And he was like, it actually took a lot of time and effort to get to the meat.
I'm not even a surgeon, and I know that. Like, humans know that.
Yes.
Fucking idiot.
Agreed.
All right.
So any of the meat that he actually enjoyed, he had it all in the freezer. And so he specifically liked the thigh meat is something that he had mentioned. And so he really picks apart her body. There's photos of this. It's terrible.
Oh, no.
But he pretty much consumes or butchered her appropriately to have almost no leg meat left, if you will. He cut off her breasts, which he mentioned they are just fat, and so they don't taste good.
He's such a little...
Yeah.
God.
It's pretty terrible.
Her poor family.
So June is the hottest month in Paris. So it was very smart that he chose to murder her in June.
Because?
It's the hottest month. And so obviously a dead body is going to rot faster and smell more. Another reason why he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So he's obviously worried that smells and extreme things are going to kind of occur from that. So he explains in detail how hard it is for him to cut up her body. And that he actually knew how to butcher a body because he went on a luxury boat one time and sat next to a butcher.
Oh, no.
And that butcher told him how to carve meat. And then after his incident, because he calls all of this an incident.
The incident?
I don't know if for all I know, it could be translation.
Yeah.
Like it could truly just be a translation in Japanese that incident is the only thing
I don't
that
want to
would
give him the
explain this.
benefit of the doubt because he sucks. So.
Well, anyway, he literally wrote the butcher a letter thanking him for his tips. He wrote a letter to a butcher and thanked him for his tips after he had butchered a woman and then ate her body.
Damn it. Like, why? Okay. So how does that come up in conversation?
They were at dinner drinking and hanging out. It doesn't shock me. Oh, you're a butcher? So what's the process for that? I've talked in detail on how to butcher a deer. So it's like, I can see how that would casually. He didn't say, how do you butcher a human body?
Yeah.
Obviously, that wasn't the topic of discussion. So he talks about how it's not like a horror movie where it's really easy. He's like, the torso is really heavy. You have to cut a lot. It was just so much work. He basically just goes into this womp womp, poor me. It was so much hard work.
Oh, he's gross.
Yes. Yes. Now, it says that he ate most of her breasts, which is confusing because so I read this in a different part, that he had consumed various parts of her body, obviously kept some of it in the freezer, that he had eaten most of her breasts, face, butt, feet, thighs, and neck, either raw or cooked, even admitting that are you ready?
No.
This is the worst part. Even admitting that he swallowed her clitoris whole due to her being on her period at the time and not liking the smell of the menstrual blood.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
So I'll just keep going.
Please.
He also took photographs of her body at each stage of him eating her.
He's the worst.
So there's photos of all of this. Once the remains of her body that he didn't consume had started to decomp, that's whenever he was like, all right, I got to dispose of her body. Let's figure out how. Now, he had liked some fucking lake in the Bois de Boulogne Park.
Oh, fancy. That was fancy.
And he had been like, I'm gonna do it there because that makes sense, right? A public park.
In June.
Are you ready for this?
No, I'm not ready for any of this. Here's the thing. I need a pause. I want the meeting minutes to show. I forgot about what the second half of the story was. I stopped, a hard stop at our stopping point for when we were going to swap. So all of this is literally like brand new information to me.
Well, it gets better.
God damn it.
So the guy is like, all right, I got a dead body here, chopped it up. I'm going to put it in 2 big suitcases. And then I'm going to call a cab.
A cab. I'm
going to call a cab, and I'm going to have this cab load up these suitcases.
Okay.
And the cab driver literally goes, what is this, a dead body? And he goes, no, it's just books.
Books.
Mm-hmm.
2 suitcases. Me and my books are just moving.
And I'm going to get dropped off at a public park.
Right?
Well, it gets better. He goes, I was a fool to not realize how bright it was at 8 p.m. It's because in Paris at 8, it is still broad daylight. The sun hadn't even gone down.
So he went
So
during
the
the
park
day.
was full with people sunbathing. When he gets out of the cab,
Okay.
everyone's staring at him because he's a tiny man with 2 huge suitcases dropped off by a cab driver in broad daylight to a park.
What did...
I told you can't make it up.
I don't...
So he is trying to push the body, right? And like push the suitcase. I can't even.
I don't...
So he's pushing the suitcases closer to he literally said he got really freaked out because everyone was staring at him. I'm sure they were. So he gets to like a more secluded area, like a peaceful area, if you will. And he's like, the sun is setting. There's like a kid and a dad walking further in the distance. It's so bright and beautiful. It's just a gorgeous sunset. And he forgets the suitcases.
What? No.
And literally just gets distracted by the sunset that a random stranger is like, is this your suitcase? And he goes, no. And the guy opens it.
What? Wait. What?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, oh, look at the sunset.
So he's literally just imagine just being at a park.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. You have your weird big ass suitcases behind you. I don't know how far away from you, but they're not right next to you.
Okay.
And a stranger is like, fucking 2 huge suitcases in the park? What is this? Is this yours? He even said, he goes, I think if I would have said that it was my suitcase, that he wouldn't have opened it.
Yeah.
But out of my first reaction was to say no. And that's why he opened it. Because he was like, why are there 2 random suitcases here? And it's nobody's suitcase.
Yeah.
And he opens it up and finds a fucking body. And so he screams murder at him.
Oh.
Yeah. And guess what he does?
Giggles? I don't know.
He just walks away and he just leaves the park.
He just leaves.
He just walks away.
I mean, I guess what would you do? I don't know. He's not making good decisions since we started. So who fucking know? Could you imagine being that poor guy that opened it? All of this is bad.
I don't know what to.
I don't know where to go.
June,
the cab driver?
Bad, and that's what I'm saying. 32 years, you were planning this for how long? You wanted this so fucking bad.
Yeah.
And yet you knew how you were going to kill her and how you were going to eat her, but you never once stopped to think about how you were going to dispose of the body. So you put her in a suitcase, got in a cab in broad daylight.
Right.
You were going to put it in a public location. So what do you think everyone was going to think whenever you pushed 2 huge suitcases that probably would not have sank into the fucking lake? That's a fucking...
That's so
littering.
dumb.
First, it's a littering.
Yeah.
Like anyone's going to let you do that? No. And you did it in broad daylight? So that one day whenever it did fucking pop back up, they'd be like, where there was this little tiny fucking Japanese guy.
Yeah, and they're going to, he's also in a different country and 4'9". That all of that is memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I think I would even I think I would notice and be like, why does he have huge suitcases? Like, where's he going?
And he can barely pull them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's pushing them towards a body of water.
Looking like a fucking dog sled. Pull it like a dog on a dog sled, just pulling those.
Right.
I can't. Okay.
It takes a whole 4 days for him to get arrested.
4 days, huh?
Yep. 4 days.
That's pretty quick.
The French police come and they arrest him. And he's like, I was honestly relieved because I realized I was going to be able to talk about how I really feel. And he was like, essentially, I've been waiting my whole life to do this. He's interrogated by 3 psychiatrists, and they say that he's mentally insane, which after you talking through this, what are your thoughts? Do you think he's clinically insane?
Yeah, I do. Yes. I really do.
I, too, believe that he's insane.
Yeah.
Because of
everything we said.
And also everything else that I'll continue to say.
Oh, God. There's more?
Oh, yeah. So obviously his wealthy father provides a lawyer for his defense. And after being held for 2 years awaiting trial, he ends up being found legally insane. and unfit to stand trial by the French judge. I'm not doing any names here. I don't care. And they told him that he needed to be held indefinitely in a mental institution.
You think?
So then this author comes, another name I'm not pronouncing. What do you call him? Issei? Issei?
Yeah.
Issei's account of his kill essentially is published in Japan under the title In the Fog.
Ugh.
So Japan is like, these places have different rules. We're going to talk about a lot of shit that's going to just, now we're going to get pissed. Like before we were like, what the fuck? Yeah. I'm entertained. I'm entertained by what his ignorance has done. But now we're going to get pissed. So because this journalist comes, they write this article for Japan. The French public is like, fuck you and fuck this. So he gets all this publicity and he becomes a macabre fucking celebrity.
That's bullshit.
And he's super terrible. And that forced basically like the French community and then the French authorities decided that, fuck that. We're not paying for you to be at a mental institute for you to then do this shit. Get the fuck out of our country. You're going back to Japan. So he's immediate. Well, yeah. I would too. 100%.
I'd be like, what?
Any other...
Fuck, get out of here.
Yeah. Any other country would do. I feel like any other country. You usually automatically get deported back. Well, not really. It also depends too which like jail system or prison system's worse. But he automatically gets committed to a hospital in Tokyo.
Okay.
So after that fun part, essentially his charges are dropped in France, right?
They said, here, you fucking deal with him. You guys want to worship him and make him a celebrity. You fucking deal with him, right?
Right. Well, so they go to that hospital in Japan and the psychiatrists there think it's a personality disorder and that he's not mentally insane. They think he's basically a pervert who has sexually induced issues. Yeah. And that he's not mentally insane. And so since the charges against him in France had been dropped, because they did, the French court documents were sealed and they weren't released to the Japanese authorities.
Yeah.
Consequently, he couldn't be legally detained in Japan. So he signed himself out.
So because they couldn't get the court documents to be like, this guy's fucking crazy, right?
The French deported him.
They said, here, you take him, but then they sealed his documents, you said?
Yes. And the Japanese authorities didn't get the documents. They did take him, yes, to a mental institute, but he wasn't required to stay there. So he says he was forced out of there, and then I read other things. He literally signed himself out and walked right out.
Guarantee he signed himself out, little pussy-ass bitch.
So no treatment, no consequences, and now he's a free man. Back in his home country. Forever.
That is infuriating. Her poor family.
Oh, I'm sure. Who knows what she's even hearing, though? This is fucking the time frame that it was.
Yeah.
Who knows how much they actually get to see. But he doesn't have a job. He doesn't have any money.
Yes, money.
He doesn't have any money.
That's how they say it in Japan.
It was because I was about to say media. But anyway, so he doesn't have a job. He doesn't have any money, even though his dad's rich. So let's fucking whack off our fucking nothing on that.
Did he get the money for the book? Sorry.
Yeah, we're going to keep going.
Okay.
So the media is reaching out to him and they're basically like, dude, here's $10,000, $20,000. Like Japan was doing really well at the time in the media area of things.
Yeah.
And they were like, will you write an interview or will you write an article that led to an interview, insert A, B, and C. And he ends up writing like 20 books.
Does he?
Yes. He makes all of the money from this. Let me keep going because it gets fucking worse, Becky. There's something in this that, okay. So there's also this thing called Lolita manga, and it's really, really weird, like comic book stuff.
Okay.
It's real strange.
Okay.
And he essentially like draws for that and tells like, I think he draws for it because he ends up being an artist, but he draws for it. And it's like one of them is literally like it's portraying him with a head cut off and him jacking off naked, straight up.
What?
So it's real fucked up. Like basically he wrote and did a comic book of the murder of Renee.
No.
And sold it and made money off of it.
That little...
So in his office, they show him his office and there's literally a photo of an asshole.
No.
Uh-huh.
You're
no, like
lying.
a photo, like a picture of you and me.
Yeah.
At fucking Holiday World.
Yeah.
With a pumpkin spice latte.
Okay.
But a photo of an asshole. There's a photo of him naked on the beach with a woman who's also naked.
What?
These are the photos in his office.
What?
Yeah.
And they were on the documentary.
Hmm? It was just a 30-minute interview thing on YouTube. Yeah. Straight up.
I don't know if I can watch it. Keep going.
You should. You really should. It's really, you should. Okay. Everyone should, honestly. But I'm not going to list off his books and all that shit because fuck that. He shouldn't make any money for it. But he ends up actually becoming a decent painter. But of course, what do you think he paints?
Assholes. Asses.
Beautiful women.
Oh.
Which is more creepy. I'd rather him do fucking assholes. He wrote one book. This is the one that is the worst part of everything. Everything that's wrong in this world is what I'm about to tell you. So he writes this one book that ends up causing a ton of issues. And it's because he used his psychiatric report from the murder and all of the photos that he took of Renee and wrote a book about killing her.
No, he did not. Mm-hmm. No, he fucking did not.
And he made all the money off of it.
No, he...
Mm-hmm. Like literally the murder photos. It's like Jeffrey Dahmer writing a book of all the photos and showing all of the photos of murdering people and making the money off of it.
How is this okay? Who published this?
I don't know.
Like,
it was all in Japan. I can't tell you.
Shame on everyone. I'm mad.
He even said, he goes, this caused a lot of issues and it honestly should have never been published.
Then why the fuck did you put it together?
Because he's insane.
Fucking twerp.
Because he's fucking insane.
Well, someone's feeling his little psycho fire.
So he also does these really weird videos, and this is you have to watch.
I don't know.
And he even says when he's explaining it, he's like, they made me do really weird stuff. They were so strange. So it's like him sitting at a table eating a chicken leg and smiling and looking into the camera, really creepy like. It's him they would make him do physical stuff, like plyometric circuit workouts, and they would make fun of him.
I mean, good. At least someone's fucking making fun of him.
There was one where he's doing a video with Little Red Riding Hood and he's the wolf.
Is this are these dirty movies or is this
these are regular?
Just regular.
I mean, I can't say they're regular. They are not regular. Anyone that wants to see a cannibal, someone who murdered a woman and ate her, eat a chicken leg.
That's what I mean.
There's a weird kink love factor to it. What it is, I can't tell you because I don't relate to it.
Yeah, me either. I don't even like anybody. Regular humans, I don't like to watch eat chicken wings. My husband, I don't like to watch eat chicken wings, let alone this little
What was a big chicken leg?
Asshole. Well, everything looks big to him.
Well, I'm just letting you know it was a big piece of meat.
Well, I'm mad.
And I think that was the really gross part of it, too.
Everything is gross.
And he literally never learned his lesson. He was still chasing Western women.
God damn it.
Which I don't even understand why they would even speak to him.
Right.
But in 1993, he meets some guy who gets him in contact with women. So the guy's German. I don't know. I'm about to tell you a whole bunch of shit that I think is really dicey and really weird. So he meets this German guy. And this German's like, I can find you these women. And so he introduces him to women. Why? And one of them is Rhonda and Talia. Okay. They're both beautiful. You can tell in the photos because he has photos of all of them. And Rhonda's legit a whole foot taller than him, I think. And basically he just pays for their expenses and is stealing money from his dad to pay for these women, though they never have sex with him. They just hang out with him and he pays for their trips.
So he's
they get real fucked up and introduce him to drugs and
so basically he pays to play.
Yeah.
But not play with his little tiny
They go to Canada, India, Mexico, and Iceland.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, at first, they didn't know what he had done. That's a big part of it.
I would certainly
They didn't know who he was.
Not.
They ended up doing some drugs together. At some point, he thinks that they're lesbians, but then, Talia's boyfriend finds out the situation, if you will, and they, lose touch. So, I don't understand. I don't know what this was. I think...
just wanted some sugar babies to hang out with. He's like, I want to stare at
And they were like,
women.
for us to fuck with you, we're going to get real fucked up.
I'm going to not be of sound mind when I'm around you, little tiny dancer.
Yes. Yes. And I think once they found out, that's whenever they retracted and they're like, we're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So he is officially now into Japanese women. He has given up on, at 63, he's over Western women and he's really focused on Japanese women.
New year, new him, huh?
He admits to being a pervert. He's showing photo. He has just women, famous women, just Japanese women just taped up all over his walls of his apartment.
Just like he is in a frat house?
Yes. Yes, Heather, just like that. Mm-hmm. And he's still, whenever he's like talking about he's like, she's a famous actress. I would just love to eat her thighs. Like they look like she'd be so tasty.
God damn
like yeah. So then he talks about his porn journey.
Okay.
So then he busts out.
Wait. I gotta scoot up in my chair.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm ready.
So look and listen. He apparently did porn. I don't know anything about how that came about.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. I was looking down. All of this is in Japanese. I had to keep like pausing and because I didn't always get to read what he was saying. So he basically has like a TV in his living room and like 18 remotes. It's a very creepy situation. And he turns it on.
Okay.
And so it's doing like that pre-interview with the girl who's really pretty.
Yeah.
That she knows that she's going to meet this guy and knows his name.
Uh-huh.
That she's going to meet him. And the concept is like something about, I could be totally wrong on this, but because I wasn't that intrigued about the porn storyline.
Okay.
But that she had to stay basically at his house and be with him for 24 hours and have sex with him at least 3 times. That's what the director asked for, like have sex at least 3 times.
Okay.
They record after they have sex. I don't know if it's the first time, the second time. I think it's I'm going to guess maybe it's the 3rd time. I don't know enough to tell you.
Yeah.
But then he tells her what he did.
After that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
She beat the
in
shit.
great detail.
No, he didn't.
In great detail. And shows the book and the photos.
The book, he says he feels bad for, or it shouldn't
He
been
never said he
published.
felt bad.
Or it should have, he said it should have never been published.
Right. And he has her look at all the photos. Like she has to take the book and look at the photos.
God damn it.
And in that same conversation, he's like, I really would like to drink your urine and swallow your saliva.
What are you saying to me? What are you saying to me? Becky.
I don't know.
I want everyone to know that you have said some very weird thing whilst making eye contact when you were like, he ate her clitoris.
Yeah. Swallowed it whole like a jelly bean. But anyway. So hold on. We need to go back into the sadness of this woman who just had sex with a man that she then realizes is a cannibal. Okay. So while she's hearing this, she ends up like taking a blanket and like covering up her legs.
Yeah.
And like, I think she looks like she's going to cry. Like at some point they're like on a bus or something and it just seems like she seems really upset. But he says that they end up becoming friends later. And that naked girl in that photo at the beach was her.
What?
So I don't know.
Maybe she just was like,
she's a porn star, dude.
Keep your enemies closer. And she's like, he might try to.
I have no idea.
Umbrella eat my ass if I don't.
I couldn't tell you. I was very confused by all of that.
I'm confused
because
by
he
all
also
this.
talks more about like how he lives a life in solitude and like I don't get it. So I don't get it. But anyway, so his parents end up dying at one point and they die really close together. And he said that he was hurt so badly. He was like, if I could feel so much pain for losing my parents, why can't I feel any remorse for what I did to Renee? He feels not 1 ounce of none.
Oh my God.
He also talks about how no one talks to him and like he has no calls or texts. No one's checking in to see how he's doing. Like that he lives his life in complete solitude. So he was basically saying it's a worse life that I made it out of like the court. Like I made it out of the trial system.
Yeah.
To then live a life known as a cannibal and have no one want to like, I would have rather been in jail pretty much.
Well, I'm glad he was miserable. Stupid fuck face.
Well, he's 100%, 1,000 million billion % completely miserable in his life.
Good.
So he said that whenever he wants to eat people, like his way of like dealing with that isn't a nice bike ride or going for a jog.
What is it?
Masturbating.
Ew.
But now he was impotent.
He couldn't even
get hard, which was worse because now he's worried he was going to eat people.
Oh.
Yeah, you're laughing.
I was laughing at
like,
first like, haha. And now I'm like,
no,
well.
he's like, well, now that I can't have my release, I'm more worried that I'm going to become a cannibal again. And so he like openly talked about.
Well, now it's not funny anymore.
Well, yeah, at 61, he's talking in detail about how he just doesn't know who he is. He never knew who he was. He doesn't know enough about like basically like that he feels like he was just sick and didn't know anything. The way he starts, which I thought was really interesting, he said that the way that the whole like documentary or whatever you want to call it starts is that he feels like he as a baby was dropped here from another planet, a planet of cannibals. and that he was never supposed to be here, and that he was just raised by his mother, like that he and his parents, and really he was born a cannibal, and like he would always want to eat people, and it was just something that he couldn't do anything about.
Well, I disagree.
I don't know. You don't want to eat people, sis.
Yeah.
So you can't say that, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know. We just don't know because we don't wake up every day and look at people and want to eat them.
Yeah, I guess just because I'm so mad about what he did to her that I'm like, fuck him.
I hate that he made money off of it.
Yes.
And he's basically like, what else was I supposed to do? I didn't have any money. Oh, but you definitely stole your daddy's credit card and used all of his money to pay for prostitutes that didn't fuck you.
Right?
So go fuck yourself, you fucking piece of shit. And that's what he's saying. He killed her and he never felt remorse. And that's why he wrote the book. That's why he posted the photos. That's why he did everything he did. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's a fucking asshole.
He is. He is completely a piece of shit. He obviously has an intense level of mental issues, and there's no questions for that. At one point, he's talking about, he goes, I haven't, and this is how casually he says it, I haven't paid my rent in 5 months. I could get kicked out any day, but if I do, I'll just kill myself.
Whoa.
No. It's like, if I don't have anywhere to live, I'll just kill myself. Like, whatever. Ugh. It is what it is. Like, being alive and being who I am is worse than just dying. He then goes and says that he wishes for the death sentence, and that he has no desire to be alive whatsoever, and that he says that he wants to die a slow death, suffering, and to slowly be torn apart.
You've left me speechless on our audio project quite a few times today. And now the streak continues because I don't know how to respond to that.
Me either.
At all.
And that's not even remorse. I don't think that's remorse because he killed her. It's
self-hatred, stupid fucker.
Which is almost pathetic in itself.
Yeah.
Like, you have a mental issue. You didn't care to get treatment. You didn't try to treat it. You capitalized on the murder of someone else.
But he went to the doctor and told him. And then when they were like, we're going to work on this. And he was like, And
he never mentioned that either.
Yeah. And he said it one time. And
or maybe he did. I tried to not pay as much attention to like the pre-murder part, but
because all this is like, whoa.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to say about any part of it.
I don't either.
Any part of it.
I don't either.
Well, in 2013, he was hospitalized from a cerebral infarction. I don't know what that is, which permanently damaged his nervous system. He later lived alone, and he ended up needing like daily assistant. That was cute.
It was.
I'm glad that I did that. Anyway,
I like it.
He ended up needing daily assistance.
I love when you do that.
Which he got, like, I guess he had to use people to help, or his like little brother would come and caregivers or whatever. Mm-hmm. But just last year is when he bit the dust. On November 24th, 2022, Issei Sagawa died from complications of pneumonia at the age of 73.
He lived to be 73 and wrote books and jack-off cartoons.
And he was 61 when he had already written those 20 books. He was like, he became a painter, and he was like, I make a lot of money off of the painting. But then I don't understand why. And that's what he said too. He sold his brother's cello. He stole his brother's cello and sold it to pay for those women's trips too.
Wow.
So like I have no clue what was happening on the money front, because he was almost braggadocious on the fact that he was such a good painter and would sell him for a shit ton of money because he was the cannibal.
Yeah.
Everything, when you stop and you listen to it, it's like you hate yourself. You felt pain. You talked about how hard it was to cut up the body. There's so many confusing pieces to it. You brag about your paintings. You also say how much money you made, but that it was degrading the videos that you did, but you were fine with taking the money, yet you have no money, but you stole money from your dad and you didn't fuck these women. What?
I feel like some of the things might be learned behavior, like learned social behavior. So he like just says it with all my, psychology training.
That could make sense.
But like maybe he just learned, like sociopaths learn to adapt and make eye contact and be fake interest and emotions.
Right.
Maybe he just learned people looked at him weird when he was like, I wanted to eat an ass sandwich. And they're like, you probably shouldn't do that. And he's like, that's bad.
I want to eat an ass sandwich too. I don't know. What is that? A fucking rap song? I don't know. What's an ass sandwich? 2 hands? I don't know.
Oh man, we gotta get that YouTube channel up because the visual I just saw
was what an ass sandwich.
It was just missing an umbrella and a baby Frankenstein.
It was a lot. There is a huge list of a whole bunch of things, but I was like, I'm not going to promote anything about
fuck him.
His shit. But I will say that there was a song on the Rolling Stones 1983 album Undercover that is actually about Issei and the violence in the media, and it's called Too Much Blood.
Really?
So that song was actually from him. And the fact that the media covered it.
Yeah. I'm going to listen to it.
It's going to bum us out. It's basically saying how media loves the fucking storylines of these things. Like
they always have.
Yeah. Hashtag true crime podcast.
Hello. Right? Yeah. Just like these.
I feel like our shit's different in the sense that like the media, when you're a victim, they will tear you apart. You cannot tell a story in the media without tearing apart every single person, their character, their lives, their loves, and their death. And that's it. That's why media is wrong in all of these facets. You get caught up in the wrong parts of it.
Yeah, and that's what pisses me off because we had to go through the media to get our research, and I couldn't find very much on Renee, which makes me mad because I was trying, but he overshadowed it so hard.
Well,
obviously, that we usually try to do that, you know what I mean? And we couldn't do it as well as what we would prefer.
Essentially, he became the most famous murderer that you can think of. In the sense that he was the only one that then did interviews, articles, books, detailing murdering someone and then made money off of it and became a famous celebrity for killing someone.
A little fuckbag.
Yes. So that's the story of Issei Nasty.
Issei
Nasty. Fuck him.
Fuck
Ain't
him.
that crazy though?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
This was the
You know what?
craziest.
This is. I'm going to have to go out on a limb and say this was a little odd. Just a little bit off the beaten path.
It was different.
This is one of the. This is up there with the necrophilia one where you read the interview with her. Because like I said, I didn't know a lot of the stuff that you said. So that was.
I just realized that he raped her while she was on her period and dead.
And dead. Yeah. And dead.
Yes, dead being the key part.
Yeah.
Of the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, oh my God. There's literally nowhere to go.
There's nowhere
to go.
Besides
to our Spotify and Apple Podcast accounts and subscribe and review and rate because I have nowhere. What else are we going to say?
Like, rate, all that. Follow us on @a-couple-of-Sassholes on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then once you do follow us, please double tap and give us some hearts because we heart you.
Give it.
You sexy fucking minxes out there. Sexy minxes.
Sexy minxes. I love the way you say it. The way you look at the microphone looks like you're a blues singer trying to seduce.
Girl, I'm always trying to seduce them listeners into liking us more.
That's right.
I'm going to leave now.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. We love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Theodore, can I bet that